There's been some big changes to the way airdrop points are gathered now, and I want to discuss how my game plan and potentially your game plan might change and what the best way to farm airdrop points is now. They've introduced holos. So you can see here I've caught these holos. These are rare cosmetic effects. So you can see it's like a static skin. There's this kind of awesome holo effect. These are rare skins and you're likely to catch a lot of these. So I would say catch all of them as you find them. You'll see the skin on them as they're running around, but you'll also see this little H symbol that will help you identify them in the wild fairly easily. There's also dark holos, which are far more rare and worth a lot more. So about 10 times the points as the holos. And you get points for these just catching them individually, as opposed to the other airdrop points that you get for completing full lines of normal Illuvials. These are some graphics of the airdrop points, so you can screenshot those if that's what you want to do. But the dark holo skin here, you can see it covers the whole body and kind of phases in and out of the normal skin and this holo effect. So pretty cool. And the H is a black H there, so you'll know that when you see them in the wild. And just to give you an idea, I just caught a stage 2 lynx and it was a dark holo, and that's already worth 25,000 points. Completing a full tier 5 set is worth 40,000, so a lot of potential points if you find dark holos in the wild. The game plan I would suggest is catch all tier 5s still, catch all holos, and I'm going to discuss what you're going to be leveling. I won't discuss dark holos because they're so rare. If you ever catch 3 of the same, it's pretty much a given that you'll level them and fuse them. Before we get into the numbers, I just want to mention, if you're new to the game and don't have many strong Illuvials, feel free to link your wallet down below and I'll send you a fully evolved tier 1 Illuvial. That'll help out a lot. Just make sure to use my creator link to create your account, or if you're going to create a second account for whatever reason, make sure to use that as well. And feel free to let me know what Illuvial you might want out of all of these, and I'll do my best to give you that. Otherwise, I'll just give you the best that I have available. So we'll just have a look at some numbers. Already we know that completing a full line of the tier 5s, so having a faux, phosphorus and forest in our wallet, is going to give us 4,000 points. If we complete all of these lines of the tier 5, so we're going to get a bonus 15k. Same with the tier 4, tier 3, tier 2 and tier 1. And we're going to compare these to the holos, what we're going to get for leveling holos. Just to give you an idea of these numbers, this example here for a tier 2, so the lynx, you're getting 500 per lynx. If we have 3 of those, that's 1500, and the plus 1000 here is just to indicate how much more we get if we decide to fuse those. So we're going to get 2500 for a stage 2 lynx, meaning we're only getting 1000 more leveling the stage 1 lynx compared to just holding him in our wallet, because that's already giving us 1500 for the 3 of them. So that's where that comes from. When we're considering leveling the holos, we have to consider we're fusing 3 of them, and those 3 that we fuse won't be in our wallet anymore. And again, most of us won't be at the stage of leveling dark holos, so I'm not going to talk about those. Again, if you have dark holos that you can fuse, pretty much a no-brainer that's what you'll do. So if we simplify this a little bit more here, so this is just an order of what's most valuable. Fusing 3 tier 5 stage 2s, which are really rare. I don't have any stage 2s yet, but if you manage to get 3 of the same, fusing them into a stage 3, you're going to get an extra 40,000 for that. So quite a lot. Tier 5 stage 1s, fusing 3 of them, you're going to get an extra 8,000 compared to just holding the 3 in your wallet. Tier 4 stage 2, you're going to get an extra 6,000 again compared to holding them in your wallet. That's going to be quite rare. I don't have any stage 2s yet. So interestingly, the tier 2 stage 2 holo lynxes, you're going to get an extra 5,000 for fusing 3 of them. And the reason this is interesting because it's more than the tier 3. But the lynxes are quite valuable. The 5th highest points is going to be finishing a tier 5 line. So we've set that up there. So finishing a line is going to give us 4,000 points. We just got to keep in mind it contributes to completing a full set of tier 5, which is 15,000 points. So we just keep that in mind when we're considering what we want to do. And the list goes on. Again, note that that fusing the stage 1 lynxes are actually a little bit higher than the tier 3. And down the bottom is the tier 4 line, which we'll just consider. We're not going to consider tier 3s, 2s and 1s because we're pretty much never going to level those. This is purely for deciding what we want to level. And if we simplify this further, just as a general rule, number 1 priority is going to be leveling holo tier 5s. So as we said, to get stage 2, it's going to be 8,000 bonus. If we're going to fuse and level 3 stage 2s, it's going to be a 40k bonus. So definitely number 1 priority, where I've probably not going to get that very frequently. I've only got and a Scarabok holo, so I'm not even really close to having 3 of them to level in the first place, which is why I've highlighted the green ones, which are just generally more likely to occur. So number 2 priority is going to be just be leveling normal tier 5s. which I'll show you my team. That's mostly what I'm doing now, because that's still going to be 4,000 per line, and it works towards the 15k bonus. If we can't fill our team with normal tier 5s to level, maybe we run out of master shards and we just haven't caught enough yet, we're going to level holo tier 4 stage 2s, which I have none of. Again, I didn't highlight it in green because it's going to be pretty rare. We're going to start filling our team with holo lynxes if we have them, because leveling to a stage 2 is going to give us 1,000 and 5,000 if we can level the stage 2s to a stage 3. After the lynxes, it's going to be tier 4s, trying to complete those lines of normal tier 4s, which will give us 600 and contribute to the bonus of 2,400. I'm yet to ever really level these because I've always had something in the top 4 here that I can fill my team with, so I'm not sure I'll ever level those. I would consider actually prioritizing a tier 4 stage 1 holo, just because we have to also consider when we're thinking about this, using 3 stage 1s only cost 4,000 XP to do. Getting all the way to a stage 3, you need 57k. So completing these lines of tier 4s, for example, is going to be much harder to do than just simply leveling 3 tier 4 stage 1s to the stage 2. That's why I've put the tier 3 stage 2 holos, leveling them at last, just because, again, it's going to take a lot more experience than the stage 1s. You could swap those around just depending, but yeah, usually you'll have these first 4 available to level. Most of the time it's going to be your normal tier 5s and the high tier holos that you catch, and the lynxes happen to be quite desirable as well. Again, if you have 3 of the same dark holos, you'll be leveling those as well. So I'll just show you how that looks in my team. I'm still using the Slayers to carry 6 Illuvials that I'm wanting to level. If you haven't already, make sure to check out that Slayer video. I'll link it in the top right hand corner, and it'll be linked in the description as well. This is the best way to maximize your leveling, because these 2 Slayers can carry a full team fairly easily, as long as we have their gumbo drops on them. So I'm currently leveling most of my tier 5s, trying to complete those lines of normal tier 5s. I am leveling the dash, because even though we decided based off what I just said that this isn't the most efficient, I probably should have a tier 5 here. I just really want an Umbra holo, so I'm working towards that. The hardy I have in, I should replace this. Now that we know what we're going to level, I just wanted to show you what a run might look like and how we're going to make this more efficient for the airdrop. We're still going to farm ores and consumables, the gumbo drops and the floribores. So the gumbo drops here, and the floribores, which is the tank consumable, and obviously the flint cap everywhere we can. We can now just hit Illuvials, or at least look at them, tag them in whatever way you can, and we'll be able to know if it's a holo or not, and we can just move on to the next one. So not a holo, not a holo. Can still scan stage 2s and 3s, and maybe even higher tiers, because although the rarest Illuvial shows in the wild, I'm not entirely sure what it prioritizes. I suspect it prioritizes stages over tiers. So you can see in this encounter there's 2 Illuvials at a higher tier than the Cuculus. Personally, I'm still skipping the scan the vast majority of the time, and I should mention it seems like holos are prioritized in the wild, so you shouldn't miss too many holos if you're not scanning. The only time you might miss one is if there's 2 holos in the one encounter. I don't know that for sure though, so don't take my word for it. If you want, you can still scan and maybe test it out a bit, but from my small amount of testing, I haven't found any holos hidden within encounters that aren't showing a holo in the wild. And I would suggest definitely build the 2 capture rate drone chips. You can have one in the absolute tab here, so that means you can double up on the capture rate. I think that might be a holo, so yeah, so we can see the holo there. You can see the holo effect, but don't stress if you can't see it in the wild. We don't need to, so if I didn't see this, I can just shoot it as I go past and I'll see the H in the corner, and then I'll know. Just watch out for the dark holos, the dark H on the background of some of the, say like the purple background in the links. It was quite hard to find, you almost miss it. With the tier 5 stage 1s that we were previously using master shards on, it's not going to be worth using a master shard, in my opinion, unless you already had an abundance of them before the change, because they now cost 800 shard dust to make. There's going to be even more reason to have a cheap team that can still win these encounters, because you want as much mastery points left over at the end of the battle to be able to throw you know, 1 to 3 resplendent shards, and it's going to be between 50 and 60% chance to catch the tier 5 stage 1s. That's all I've been using so far, so I've been saving the master shards for fully evolved tier 4s and high stage tier 5s. So just the resplendents on the stage 1 tier 5s. If this was a tier 5 stage 1 that I was trying to catch, you can see I've only got enough for 2 shard throws. What I would do is definitely not put any gear in the ranger. I would just take this dash out, and now I've got 3 attempts with a resplendent shard. So that's how I would do that. And I know I can carry pretty easily, with even just honestly with these 3 Illuvials, the 2 Slayers and the Forest. Yeah, and I would only be doing this just emulating whether this, if this was a tier 5 stage 1. Seems quite easy. And I'll have this team linked down below, so if you haven't already watched that video of the Slayers, definitely watch that video, and it explains the process around this Slayer team. So I think these changes are overall really good. New players feel like they haven't missed out as much because they have opportunities to win really big. The Dark Holos, depending on how lucky you are going to be a big portion of your airdrop points, but there's no harm in just maximizing the rest of your airdrop points based off what I've already just gone through. Really good changes overall. I hope that helps, and if you're going to create a second account for whatever reason, or you want to support me, make sure to use my creator link, and let me know if you want any of these stage tier 1 stage 3 alluvials down below.